What up, y'all? Got a big old CD update for you guys here today. I'm just going to get down to this one. I got stuff to do later on, so I'm going to just cut it into it. We are listening to The Spectral Sorrows by Edge of Sanity in the background. This is one of Dan Swano's projects. Super, super good, kind of progressive death metal. It's really melodic. It's really, really good. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard this. This is actually a CDR copy that the girl I went to prom with made for me when I was like 17 maybe. But yeah, it's a great record. One of these days I'll actually purchase a real copy of it. But, you know, whatever. So, hang on. Right here. Nice close-up. Alright, I forgot this over there. So, Bekalar Honey Lager, which is a Czech beer that I'm very excited to try. I've been saving this one for a video. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Eastern European beer. Really, really cool. Cap says Dobre Pivo, being good beer. Bakalar, or Bekliar, or something like that, is the Czech word for cod. So, fish beer. We're drinking fish beer today with honey. Das Boot is still fighting against me. Oop. Oh yeah, not too bad at all. That was mostly just head, but whatever. Alright, let's get down to it. First thing, starting off with a thing that I've been in a huge mood for lately. This is Anathema with The Silent Enigma. This is just an absolutely breathtaking album. Anathema and all these kind of Peaceville bands have really captivated my listening over the past, I would say, couple of months. And I've been trying to scoop it up where I can. This is their second record from 1995, I believe, and it's densely atmospheric, death metal tinged, doom, you know, little bits of gothic elements here and there. You guys have all heard of Anathema before. I don't think it's anything particularly new. I really like the simplistic aesthetics of this one. I really like all the music a lot on here. The vocals took me a second to get used to, though. The dude who does the vocals in Anathema has like a drunk guy shout, you know, kind of like Nocturnal Culto does these days, where he just sounds like some dude wasted at the end of the bar. This guy sounds like he's wasted screaming in his living room, kind of, you know. Maybe his girlfriend left, he's incredibly depressed or something. But, you know, it actually fits the style really, really well. The pained screaming is just, it's good stuff, man. Anathema. Next is a absolute and total heater. Man, that's a good honey ale, or honey lager. A lot of those honey ones taste kind of way too sweet, but this one, good stuff. Alright, Excursion Demise by Invocator. I have not heard a soul breathe a whisper about this band, but this is a Hammerheart reissue. I was at Volta Records up in stupidest thing in the world. This thing should just be in the garbage, but I'm a collector, so I can't do it. I was at Volta Records up in Greenfield, Wisconsin, and left without buying this. Had immense amounts of buyer's regret. And a homie of mine went up there, and I was like, hey, will you pick this up for me? And he grabbed it for me. I PayPal'd him or Venmo or whatever, so gave him some cash, and he grabbed it for me. This is amazing. Amazing. Super angry thrash metal. This is everything good about early 90s thrash. Started getting really aggressive. Little bits of influence from death metal or the later, you know, maybe your Teutonic thrash bands, as opposed to, you know, goofy Anthrax and things like that. This one is right in line with Sadis and Hell Witch and Coroner. Really techy, really frantic, but the songwriting is just brilliant. Invocator is from Denmark. I don't know if I said that. This is a demo. The Genetic Confusion demo, Alteration demo, a re-recording of Insurrected Despair, and then a promo of 1991, which is It's great, dude. Seriously, pick this up if you haven't. I've never heard anybody talk about this. Check out that great album cover. They did a couple albums. This is the first debut record. I have not visited the other ones quite yet. I'm brand new to Invocator. What do you want me to tell you? I'll get to it when I get to it, though. That's for sure. And it'll hopefully be soon. I don't know. I'll see it around somewhere. I have Hammerheart got that one. It'll get on the other ones. Next, Becketh Nexamu. Got 2 discs from them. This is both of the new albums from 2022, which I kind of wish I would have gotten in time to include on my year-end list, as it would have absolutely been on there. Both albums have interchangeable artwork, interchangeable style. I didn't know I broke this. Actually, I kind of remember I did. I think I put it in my pocket while I was carrying stuff in. But if you don't know Becketh Nexamu, it's really raw black metal, but not unlistenably raw. It's a lot more in line with considerably raw bands. It's somewhat symphonic to an extent. It's more ambient than it is symphonic, but it's such a heavy keyboard use, you could probably almost call it that. So if you really like your, maybe, what is that band? It's not Black Salice, it's his other project. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Candelabrum. If you like Candelabrum and you don't know Becketh Nexamu, I would absolutely recommend you check out this band. It's just really raw, keyboard heavy black metal, ambient tinged, really, really good stuff. Talking about really, really good stuff, one of my favorite death metal albums of all time that I just haven't owned a copy of. This is Obscura by Gorguts. I am a fiend for this record, dude. I got turned on to this by a buddy some years ago. I was probably 16, 17, probably 17, and I was just amazed about everything about it. I thought the cover was weird. The vocals are crazy. The kind of vocal. I don't know what it is, but I really like it. Which is weird because, Barney Greenway kind of does like, so like a lower version instead of like a nasally shriek on top of the kind of thing. And Barney Greenway rubs me the wrong way, but it works on this one. So tell me if you guys kind of correlate that style of vocal together. The particularly holler, I guess it's like a holler rather than like a scream or a yell. A yarl. These are weird words to be describing a death metal vocalist with, but dude, this one rules. You guys have all heard this Gorguts record. Next, some pagan metal, Viking metal, folk metal, whatever you want to call it, are Pagan Hearts Reborn by Corian. This is a UK-based band. This is their second record from 2013, and they have since not been technically defunct, but they aren't active particularly. This is the last thing they did, and they're listed as unknown on the Metal Archives. Not particularly certain why they're not active anymore, or if they are active anymore, but it's really good. Think about, you hear the word pagan metal. What is the first thing you think of? Wolf chant, something like that. It's exactly what this sounds like. They have a full-time folk player, which is this wonderful lady over here. She is a blessing to this band in many, many ways. She plays the violin, the cello, and plays the whistles. So there are true blue, authentic folk instruments on here, rather than cornball keyboards, which, don't get me wrong, I love cornball keyboards. I mean, I just showed 2 Becketh Nexamu albums. Summoning is one of my favorite bands of all time. Savage's half of their career is cornball keyboards. That doesn't bother me. But the real true blue acoustic traditional folk music on here is a quick way to get to my heart, dude. Let me tell you that for sure. And Corian's a really good band. If you like your wolf chant, if you like your bands like that, Manigarm, you'd like this. Less black metal, but definitely still. This is one that my boy Joe from the Metal Man Cave has shown in his last video, and I tracked it down immediately. This is A Somber Dance by Ecstatic Fear. This is a brilliant album. So this is an Austrian project that it's breathtaking. If you like your Peaceville bands, picture it done even better in my book. Maybe not as good as Catatonia, but I think I like this more than any of the My Dying Bride or the Anathema stuff. I was incredibly impressed with this. It's really pretty. Really dark, really reflective. So this is the second album from, I want to say 99, 98, something like that. It doesn't say it on the CD itself, maybe 97. But this is the second album. The first record was a full band, and then the second one, everybody left and left this one dude all alone. So he must have been in a deep and dark place and made one of the most emotive death metal, doom metal, gothic metal albums you've ever heard in your life. Seriously, if you haven't heard of Static Fear before, go check this one out ASAP. Next is a really, really freaking cool one. I saw this was getting reissued via Brain Smasher, sharing it on Instagram. But this is Hell Witch with Sigil Miscreancy and then Terra Cementrix. I don't know, dude. It's the first Hell Witch album and the first Hell Witch EP. And I ordered it off their Big Cartel or whatever it was. I asked them to sign it, and Patrick did it. Yes, Patrick, what's his name? Ranieri signed the front cover for me. Then here's the inside. Absolutely awesome. And what they sent with me was a couple of stickers. It's a no alien sticker or something like that, something against aliens. Then he sent me this USPS cremated remains sticker, which is kind of wild how he got a hold of something like this. I assume he knows somebody. And then check this thing out. This is amazing. This really sick customized note that says stuff to me. They're celebrating our 10 LP30s anniversary box set that's going to be coming out on May of 2023, and then Patrick signed it right there. And then on the other side is this awesome show poster of them opening for Violence and I don't know, Fatal Sin, but it looks like a really, really cool time. Not a clue in the world where this was, or if this is, I have no clue where this was, but I'm really, really into it. I love this kind of stuff. This album is really, really good, aggressive thrash metal in your style of Blood Feast, and other American kind of really angry, borderline death metal thrash bands. It's weird. It kind of has like a Hellstar song structure as well. It's really wonky in certain ways. It has a lot of start and stops and some really shreddy moments, and I like that about it. You know, it kind of stops for a second. The guitar does like a huge lick, and then it goes back into some really aggressive thrash. And the vocals are great, absolutely feral, which is Patrick's doing. The guitar playing is really good, which is also Patrick's doing. The drumming's good. This bass player's shirt is hilarious. It's got the McDonald's M and it just says marijuana in it, or on it, which is ridiculous, dude. This Hell Witch record rips. Gotta love it. So thanks, Ben, for the heads up on that indirectly. Quality. All right. Gordon from the Black and Hymns channel sent me a link when I posted about Bill Skneer. Sent me to a shop in France that had 6 Bill Skneer albums in stock. I already had one, so I bought the other 5 because I have no self-control. We're going to start off with hot stuff. Toten here. This is 2 EPs put together. This is a really, really raw incarnation of Bill Skneer's material. Really repetitive, meditative black metal. This one is a bit more raw, and this one does not play in my car, which is annoying, so it won't get played nearly as much as the other ones, but it's very, very good stuff. I would definitely recommend this to your more traditionalist LLN style, true cult type of guy. Really good record. Next would be Volk by Bill Skneer. This is a full-length album. Really, really good stuff. This kind of has a lot of Graveland style to it, which I kind of think of Bill Skneer somewhere between early Graveland and early Burzum. So if that sounds of interest to you and you don't know this band, I would highly recommend it. This album in particular, I think, leans heavy into the Thousand Swords or Following the Voice of Blood era of Graveland, which I'm particularly a big fan of because Following the Voice of Blood is my favorite Graveland album. I do like the new Epic era, but I think this style just works in my ears. Maybe it's my Polish blood, but these guys are German as well. So this here, Hammerschlag, which is a demo EP compilation of several different things. This is an anthology of 1996 to 2002. big old track list, multi-disc set, and this consists of For Victory We Ride, For the Return of Paganism, Vis Germania, Das Wacht, Wir Zaber, and Vorsvater, which is a bunch of demos and EPs all mixed together, stuff from 97 literally to 2002. So I'm really, really excited to have this compilation because this stuff is really, really kind of obscure and hard to get a hold of. So having, 5 or 6 different of his releases on top of what I already have on 5 other CDs, I think I'm pretty set on the Bill Sneer material for a while. Maybe I'll definitely pick stuff up if I see it around, which you never do, but whatever. And the next one, In Solitary Silence, which is a very, very Burzum-esque album. This is very much so in the Det som Ingen Var style of Burzum, which again, one of my favorite bands of all time. It's epic. It's got that repetitive style, maybe a lot of that philosophum, 1 riff, 2 riffs, maybe 3 riffs in 7-minute songs. So if you're not into that style, I wouldn't particularly recommend this, but I'm a huge fan of that style of super repetitive, ambient black metal. Bill Sneer is very, very good. The next is probably my favorite. This is Hyperborea by Bill Sneer. This is the last one from them, so this is out on Darker Than Black. It's a quick, 20-minute listen, and it never overstays its welcome. It makes me want to play it all over again, honestly, but I had a lot to get through, so I didn't get to do that all that much. But beautiful, ice cold, ambient tinged, Burzum-y, Gravelandy black metal. It's everything that you want out of it. It's the style I like. This is textbook German pagan black metal, and I love every second of it. Alright, that's enough pagans for a while. Let's go with some Christian stuff. This is The Skull by Trouble. Gotta love it, dude. You gotta love your Trouble. One of the greatest bands in Illinois' history in my book. Waste of cardstock paper, slipcase, Hammerheart, stop that. This is great, epic-ish doom metal, old school St. Vitus-y, maybe kind of doom. No bits of stoner quite yet. I don't think that shows up until you get to the self-titled in 1990. But this is, a great band, very Christian lyrics, and I love it, man. I love every second, everything about this. This is a great record. Trouble rules. Some great brutal death metal. Gravenous Hour by Catalepsy. Catalepsy is a Russian brutal death metal band with some incredibly impressive guitar playing, some really impressive musicality behind them. They're one of the few bands that mixes technical death metal into their brutal death metal that I find incredibly entertaining and super, super appealing. Usually they'll have some brutal tinges with tons of tech. For instance, Nile, which I absolutely love, but a lot of the bands can't pull it off. This band is techy, but still super brutal. This band is the type that'll have sweeping riffs, that lead into a build-up that go into a huge slam. It's really, really percussive. It's really, really good, man. Unique leader slays it with this kind of stuff. Russia, not your most death metal country, at least off the top of your head, at least. I really, really dig this one, though. If you like really bombastic and percussive, really, really hard-hitting technical death metal, brutal death metal, Catalepsy has got your back. Next. This is a split that I also had buyer's remorse of not getting from Volta Records. This is the split between Nest and Eastcheford. I don't know. But I recognized it. It was $25. So I was like, I don't know if I want to buy this right now. That's going to take up a big chunk of my budget while I'm here. But then I was looking through my Discogs want list, and this was already in it. So I was like, oh, Evan hit me. I hit up Evan. Guy brings it to me. Great one of my friends, always there when I need the help with the collection. So Eastcheford is a Norwegian black metal band that survived for a demo, and this split, sadly, because this is absolutely amazing black metal done in your maybe mid-era Satyricon, early Satyricon, your I think mid-era, as in First one is Medieval Times, second one is the Shadow Throne, third one is Nemesis Divina, and then they don't exist after that. So first, middle, end. It's more like the Shadow Throne Dark Medieval Times style. Really keyboard heavy, distinctive black metal. It's very, very 90s sounding, and I like that. It's not blasty 90s, it's atmospheric 90s, which is one of my favorite styles of black metal that there is. And then Nest is sorry, the video decided to cut out, but Nest is a kind of neo-folk ambient project, really, really densely atmospheric, well done early style of synthesizer. You know, you can very much so tell it's keyboard samples, and I like that about it. I think it's impressive that you can pull off making an atmosphere happen with such DIY tools. Nest is a great band. Next, Hallows Eve with Tales of Terror. This is a Georgia-based speed metal, thrash metal band I'm incredibly fond of. I've always loved the aesthetic of this artwork. This is old school metal in every sense of the word, dude. It's everything you love about like sleazy mid 80s, you know, denim jacket, leather jacket, denim jeans, Trans Am kind of speed metal, dude. This is like hoodlum teenager stuff to a T. It's really, really good. It's catchy. It's memorable. The vocals are really cool. It's just everything you love about metal, dude. Hallows Eve rules. Next, Tristania, Beyond the Veil. This is another band Joe talked about in this video, but he talked about their first record. I didn't find a copy of it, but I picked this up with the other CD I showed earlier from his video. Beyond the Veil is a really, really good gothic metal album. Gothic metal, I don't really particularly know what entails gothic. Is it the heavy keyboards? Is it the attitude? Is it the mindset? What is it that really does the gothic thing? Like, I listen to this and I listen to Cradle and I hear a lot of keyboards. I hear some Victorian style romanticism. Is that what it is? I don't particularly know, but all I know is the terminology, I guess. But Tristania is a really, really good example of some death metal tinged gothic doom metal. I would absolutely recommend this to any fans of Your Peaceful 3 as well. Check this out. Back to the speedy thrash section. Fear of Tomorrow by Artillery. Artillery is an absolute classic. This is one of the best records I could think of from 1985. This band is memorable. It's riffy. It's a really, really well done group in my book. I don't remember which album this is in their chronology. I want to say it's their debut album. But, you know, it's really, really riffy, speed metal, tinged, but mostly thrash. It gets a little bit on the aggressive side. It's really, you know, hard-hitting and percussive, kind of like what would come later on in the late 80s and early 90s with thrash. And it's a great, great record, man. Here's something a little weird. This is a project from Australia. This is a Vacuum Solution by Masartham out on Avant-Garde Music. This is a very much so one-of-a-kind project. This is atmospheric black metal mixed with darker synthesizer music. Your very odd, almost dance hall trippy music, you know, kind of like if you go to a electronic music festival and people are all drugged out. This is the kind of stuff they mix with their black metal. And it's amazing. It's an incredibly spacey atmosphere. It's something you've never heard in your life. Seriously, there's not another band in the world that sounds like Miss Artham. It's really good with the build-ups. Mix it into the metal. It makes everything sound more bombastic and more kind of earth-shattering. This would be a really cool project to see live, which I have no clue if Miss Artham plays live or not, but I would love to see it. Funeral Doom, The Giant by Ahab. Just been filling in all the Ahab stuff. I'm going to get the new album at some point soon. I just haven't gotten around to it. Been trying to save some money. This is still stuff from Christmas I'm showing here, so. But, you know, Napalm Records put this guy out. It was the last record, I think, until this year. It was an 11-year wait. This is enormous, dude. This is a huge, huge, huge Funeral Doom album. You guys know exactly what Ahab sounds like. There's not much I can really say. Next, Morbid Angel's Abominations of Desolation. This is the last thing I got out of my buyer's remorse pile I mentioned earlier from Volta Records. It was $10. So I was like, oh, I just walked out of here with a Morbid Angel album for $10, brand new. I just needed to get it, dude. It's a piece of history. This is an incredible piece of death metal history. Mike Browning has great vocals. I don't care what anybody says, but he is pretty one-dimensional. But I think he fits really well in his singular dimension of which he exists upon. But, you know, great songs like Angel of Disease, Azig Thoth, great Lovecraft reference, really fits in well. This band is just great. If this came out in '86, could you imagine what it would have done to the scene, how this would have been received? You know, this is a year before Scream Bloody Gore, a year after Seven Churches when this was recorded. So if this actually got released to the world, would Morbid Angel have been as big? Would people have cared? It's a really honestly contemplative question, I would say. I'm not particularly certain how it would have been received. I mean, this is super stupid heavy for 1986. I think this might be a little bit more aggressive and heavier than Scream Bloody Gore, because Scream Bloody Gore is a lot more thrashy. This is definitely thrashy, but if you want to tell me this isn't Morbid Angel to a T, you're out of your gourd. Next, one of my favorite bands, The Swan Road by Drook. This is every Drook album you've ever heard, upside down and all. It's atmospheric, dense, hazy black metal. There's really not much I could say beyond that. I'm assuming there's a concept to this one. I don't really know what it is, but you know, they're one of the best bands to ever come out of Ukraine as far as I'm concerned. But absolutely brilliant stuff. Roman is a great songwriter. So are the other people in this band. So, Drook. Here's a band that I gave a shot due to heavy metal. Heavy Metallurgy. I almost said Heavy Metal Relics. This is Holy Land by Angra, whatever. Brilliant Brazilian progressive power metal. This album is very much so one of a kind. This band is very much so one of a kind. They're progressive power metal, yes, but they mix in their Latin American flair. They definitely have a enormous influence from their culture. There is islandy sounding parts. There is Latin sounding musical parts. It gets cooking a little bit, but it's mostly keeping in that mid pace, slow pace, almost ballad-esque in certain points. It's a really interesting album. It's deeply complex. This is something you could listen to a million times and pick out about 500,000 things that you love about it. And Angra, whatever, does a really good job with it. All right, let's get really lowbrow for a second. This is Brute Force Lobotomy by Serial Butcher. This is one of my favorite brutal death metal albums. This is one of the 2 full-length albums this band put out. To be perfectly chronological, this is the second one from 2015, even though this band has been active since the mid-late 90s. I have their first one, which is A Crash Course in Cranium Crushing, and this is absolutely repugnant brutal death metal. This is despicable, disgusting death metal, and it is everything you think it sounds like based off that album cover, though it is not slam. It is death metal. This is Disgorge. This is all those kind of blasty brutal death metal bands that are not in the slam category. Your Gorgasms, like I said, your Disgorge, things like that. If the first Aborted album, the first Skinless album, definitely listen to Serial Butcher if you have not. They have really funny album titles, at least on that other one. This one's not as goofy, but Rusty Lawnmower Massacre, Worm Buffet, stuff like that. It's just goofy. It's campy as it gets, man, but it's great stuff. Here's a little bit of black metal for you. This is Laments in Winter's Night, At the Gate of the Eternal Storm. I picked this up off Melanie Loves Death Metal, off of her distro. I scroll through Born Dead Collection pretty regularly. I feel like I order from them at least once a month. Complete and total blind buy. It was cheap. I got one of the discount codes. Throw it in there. Why not? Grab those Beketh Nexamu things and some LPs you're going to see here in a couple of minutes. This is some of the most run-of-the-mill 90s black metal worship that you've ever heard in your life. It's not bad by any means, but there's absolutely nothing particularly special about it. I'll keep it around for the fact that why not have another record that sounds like this? Why not have your Toke influence, have your Drowning the Light, things like that. Stuff that really sounds about as straightforward as it gets. It's not the most listen to thing in my collection, especially these days. I've grown to actually like that style probably less than I used to, but nonetheless, I enjoy it. Classic, classic, classic for Victory by Bolt Thrower. Just been filling in the collection. Picked this up at actually, I got this set for Christmas, which is wonderful. I absolutely love Bolt Thrower. Everything about this band is great. It's fun, it's catchy, it's groovy, it's mid-paced, it's everything you know about Bolt Thrower. Motley Crue. I am a big fan of the sleazy, nasty style of old school hair metal, lighter, heavy metal, whatever you want to call it. This is Too Fast for Love. The title track is beyond catchy. Piece of Your Action's great. Public Enemy #1. Come On and Dance is the corniest crap I've ever heard in my life. But, you know, I'm a fan. And then this other one here is the 30th anniversary edition of Girls, 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 which is a, in my opinion, an American metal classic, American hard rock classic, whatever you want to classify this as. I call it hair metal. All these boys taking a leak on there. Every time I listen to this band, I think of the story of Lars Ulrich, like, throwing a bottle at him, or, like, I don't know, talking crap in the streets, and then, like, Nikki Sixx trying to chase him down in his high heels. He couldn't make it very far. It's just, it really, that's the 80s personified. Great stuff. And the last thing is a little bit of punk rock. This is Float by Flogging Molly. I'm a big folk punk guy. I like folk metal, folk punk, all the associate genres. But I thought this was their acoustic album, which it is not. But it's nonetheless another great Flogging Molly album. It's catchy. It has kind of, for as far as I know what oi is, I think this is kind of oi-influenced folk rock, folk punk. I think it's really fun. If you guys don't like Flogging Molly, maybe give it a shot. Maybe check out some stuff like this if you like your Core Pickolanis, your Ailstorm, things like that. But I'm going to call it at that. We're well over 30 minutes already, and that is more than enough talking for this old boy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you next week. Keep it greasy.